Absolutely. So one thing I've been really curious about is you've referenced things like Peacemaker season 2 and Lanterns setting up different threads and arcs. How far do these arcs go? Like, do they culminate in Man of Tomorrow, or can we expect them to go further than that?
Yes, they definitely go significantly further than Man of Tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now, whether or not that'll be me that's able to fulfill that promise depends
Yeah.
on a lot of things in life. But yeah.
So the clip I played from Boba Talks fella British YouTuber Luke, I've played it for context because you know me, y'all lads seem to think I'm a James Gunn hater. I'm not. I just want better from the current DCU. But this clip is going viral and lots of Snyderverse people that want the Snyderverse to return are missing the context of what James Gunn actually said. You're hearing headlines like, James Gunn confirms he's out, James Gunn's done, James Gunn's unsure. It's not really what he said. So Boba Talks asked a question about where is DC going? Is the franchise going way past Man of Tomorrow? And James Gunn's response has set the internet on fire. And although I am a Snyderverse fan, I would like to see an adaptation of Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, 3, Man of Steel 2, and a Ben Affleck series. I still went to an early screening of the Superman movie, and I still cover all the DC stuff. I'm not against it. I just want it to be better. But fair is fair, because James Gunn's response has been taken so far out of context. And I know why he said it like that, because it's to do with a contract. So he said, yes, they definitely go significantly further than Man of Tomorrow. So whether or not that be me that's able to fulfill that promise depends on a lot of things in life. What might those things be? Will continue. Box office success is likely one of them. Well, the other could be a potential sale of Warner Bros. Discovery. So, James Gunn's contract is up soon. This is why he said it. Everyone knows he came to DC Studios to be the co-CEO with Pete Safran on a 4-year contract back in November 2022. Do some basic maths, lads. That would mean his contract is up this time next year, November the 1st, 2026. The deal requires him to work exclusively on DC projects during this contract. The contract requires Gunn to work exclusively for DC projects during this time. So when he said whether that's going to be completed by me, I can't say that. It depends on a lot of stuff. The internet's been set on fire. This is to do with his contract. He's on a 4-year contract. Michael DeLuca, Pam Abdi's contract has recently been renewed at Warner Brothers. James Gunn's contract has not been renewed yet. There might be negotiation talks going on behind the scenes. We don't know, right? So it's not James Gunn saying, yeah, I'm fired. Yeah, I'm leaving the company. This was all just to sell Warner Bros. Discovery. No, that's not what he said. I mean, you know me, lads. If you expect anyone to take this clip out of context, it would be me. But that's not what is going on here. As we know, Warner Bros. Discovery is up for sale. And recently, everyone wants this. So recently, CEO of Warner Bros. Discovery, David Zaslav, according to the internet, reportedly told employees that Amazon and Apple are throwing their hands into it. Also, Universal Comcast, Netflix, Paramount Skydance. Oh, but Walter Hamada works there. Oh, Walter Hamada can't do it. Warner Bros. Discovery plans to ask bidders to sign NDAs so that it can share sensitive financial information as soon as this week, officially kicking off the law. Obviously, this is obviously standard practice. So basically, everyone under the sun wants in. And you've probably seen some YouTubers and some TikTokers saying that Disney would buy Warner Bros. Discovery. I mean, I know somehow Microsoft got to buy Activision Blizzard, which in my opinion did create a monopoly, because now Microsoft owns far more gaming studios than PlayStation. But the FTC would not allow Disney to buy Warner Brothers. I've seen some TikTok videos saying, yo, Disney can finally get Warner Bros. And then we could finally get DC versus Marvel movie. I don't even think that Disney would be allowed to buy DC Studios, even though it's not a very big studio. So the context is he's not out. The context was there's a contract in play, and it's not really up to him if the contract gets renewed. I mean, I hope James Gunn can fulfill his plan, because it somewhat does seem like it's going somewhere. It's just had a very bumpy start. And then obviously people are using, I mean, it wasn't just Boba Talks. We had a bunch of YouTube. I didn't get asked, obviously, because of the content I do, probably. But I don't know. My relationship with Warner Bros. Is pretty good. They do invite me to events, so I don't know. I'm not really the kind of person to interview people. So obviously there was another question asked about HBO Max and when is the actual Green Lantern show coming out. And people think that James Gunn isn't in charge of DC because he can't give you a release date for the Guardian show. He can't tell you when trailers are coming out. It's released on HBO Max. It's not released on the DC Studio platform. James Gunn, as if I'm defending James Gunn here, this proves that I'm an impartial creator. James Gunn is more of a theatrical person. All his Guardians, Burn Bright, he's a theatrical person. He's not a streaming person, right? So there have been rumblings about HBO Max executives being unhappy with the cable network, potentially being flooded with superior content. And Gunn is somehow in the dark when it comes to when we first see a teaser trailer for Lanterns. Now, what's interesting here is James Gunn didn't actually direct and shoot the Lanterns. Yes, he's in charge of DC Studios with Pete Safran. But Kevin Feige doesn't know absolutely everything. And I don't know if this is good or bad. He said this, well, he has seen the sneak peek, he added. I think at least where it is now. But I have no clue when that's planned to be shown with HBO. The marketing is different than films. So I believe this was the same interview that Boba did. I'm reading this off an article. So people were using it to say, yeah, again, James Gunn's not in charge. HBO Max is so different to theatrical. He is in charge of DC Studios, as if I am defending James Gunn. I did not have this on my bingo card for 2025. And I will alliterate this. Yes, I do want to see the Snyderverse, right? But in the context of, I would love to see part 2 and part 3 of the Justice League movies, and a Man of Steel 2, and a Batfleck movie, but that's about it. So in the same interview, he went on to say, it's looking like the plan for Salvation will take on Dinosaur Island, which those of you who have read the DC comic New Frontier, which, as some of you may know, there's an all-powerful entity known as the Centaur. That's a big enough threat to assemble the Justice League, right? So basically, Darkseid isn't a villain. James Gunn spoke about, and people seem to think this is James Gunn somehow submitting to Zack Snyder and somehow submitting also to Marvel. James Gunn doesn't want to use Darkseid out of respect to Zack Snyder using it, pretty much. There's no alternative motive. He's not bowing down. I mean, I get the similarities of people when people say Thanos and Darkseid, but remember Darkseid was 2017, so Darkseid was planned well before Thanos. Snyder did not copy Thanos. And Gunn thinks that Thanos and Darkseid are the same. He didn't really... I mean, as if I'm defending James Gunn in 2025. People are taking what he said out of context. There are massive similarities between them. He didn't act, and then we're having tweets like, oh, if Gunn thinks that Thanos and Darkseid are the same, he really doesn't understand DC at all. Via Snyderverse fans, that's not really what he said. They did Darkseid so well. Thanos and Darkseid are similar. They are very similar, but the context is he just didn't want to do that. And this was an interview with a channel that I will not mention because obviously what happened with Salvation, this Sid's disciple working for Darkseid, and it's looking more and more like the Man of Tomorrow figure might be Brainiac, right, lads? But Brainiac might be working for with those Centaur, maybe. Because remember a few days ago, we went over something where fellow YouTuber Den of the Nerds, Josh, posted something that came from Reddit. It was a Lanterns leak, if you like, an image which didn't really confirm a lot, but the subcontext of what he said, again, referred to the mighty, powerful, the Centaur. And to be honest, the Centaur's been rumored for such a long time. So he said this on the Twitter sphere on October the 16th. So this is from an official DCU Lanterns show. A Redditor made a video pointing out that this might tease the Centaur, and WB forced him to take it down. So it's looking like the Centaur maybe be the villain. So although you lads seem to think I'm a James Gunn DCU hater, I'm not. I just wanted so much more from Peacemaker Season 2. I just wanted so much more from the Superman movie. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever's going to happen with the Batman in this universe. And James Gunn also did confirm that Batman hasn't been confirmed yet, has not been announced yet, has not been cast yet, which is good, But also in the news, allegedly, Andy Muschietti is still somehow attached to this movie. I don't know how. Plans do change. And people are saying, yo, Warstu's switching up. I'm not switching up at all. Not at all. But I've always been a DC fan. This channel literally started on me covering shows such as The Arrow with Stephen Amell, The Flash with Grant Gustin. I've covered a lot of stuff on this channel. Predominantly, we were just a DC channel. So I do prefer, well, I prefer anime over everything at the moment because there's more content out there. But DC is up there. Like, I've read much more DC comics than I have Marvel comics. I just want the best for DC. But when I start talking about Zack Snyder posting an image of Henry Cavill on his new Instagram, him posting a picture of Joe Manganiello, and people are like, oh, it means nothing. Then a few days later, Netflix, France starts his teasing, Black Adam versus Superman. I'm always going to report what stuff's out there. Whoever buys this company, like to chuck whatever James Gunn plan out the window, that's not going to be a very good idea. But there's nothing stopping them running the Snyderverse if Zack wants to return. This is only if Netflix buys them. There's nothing stopping them throwing the Snyderverse out there because we already have an Elseworld project. We have The Batman Part 2. We have these Elseworld projects. I wish we could actually see a lot more of these Elseworld projects, to be honest. I mean, I get it. It's been quite focused around the main DCU, and I get why it almost seems like I'm defending James Gunn. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not switching up. I'm just being transparent. It just seems like they've had to somewhat be forced to throw as much content out as possible. But I am really looking forward to the Batman 2. I am looking forward to the Man of Tomorrow 2 because David Cornsett's a good actor. Lex Luthor's one of my favorite actors. I'm looking forward to Batman Brave and the Bold. But Andy Muschietti, I don't know why he's still attached to it. He recently came out and said Andy Muschietti intends to direct the Batman Brave and Bold, but I can't talk about it for a couple of months. Now that maybe Robin could actually make an appearance because Gunn recently did say some stuff saying the Brave and Bold script is being worked on, but some things have changed. Plenty of things are in flux of what the situation is now. He also went on to say and asked if Damian is still in the movie. He replied, I think you'll have to wait and see what happens there. And he did confirm the Batman Brave and Bold hasn't cast its Batman yet. The story has undergone major changes since the film was first announced. This was via YouTuber Awesome Emergency. So many rumors because James Gunn liked this person and this big actor-ish was teasing his biggest role ever. It's just interesting. That movie's years off yet. They're not even probably going to start shooting it till 2026 at earliest, if then. So we don't know anything. The whole movie has completely changed. Things do change. I know I do kind of give him a bit of stick sometimes, but you know, like I say, I just want to see the best DC content that we can have in the populace that is the pop culture space. So hopefully we get all this cool stuff. And yeah, if there is a chance to restore Snyderverse, ready the Armada, I want to see that. But I also want to see whatever James is doing. So yeah, just don't take stuff out of context. I know sometimes I kind of do a little bit, but I'm a little bit of a troll. But yeah, the context is his contract runs out next year. And if it's not renewed, then yeah, he won't be in charge of DC. It's simple as. But whoever buys them, I've got no idea. Everyone wants it, and whatever the new bosses want, they can do. And realistically, it's going to take a long time for this sale to go through anyway. So the new boss may come through by the time the studios and Warner Bros. Discovery's actually bought out. So who knows anything? Not really anyone. But as we know, Supergirl definitely comes out next year. Clayface comes out, and the Lantern Show comes out next year. We hope. And then the Batman Part 2 comes out in 2027. Still a good time to be a DC fan, although the plan isn't certain and there's lots of changes here and there, but nothing's ever confirmed or verified until a trailer comes out. So like always, guys, I'll catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch you later.